On the screen?
Sorry, it will be on the screen in a second. Yeah. So
Oh, great. Thank you. Hi, guys. My name is Boris, and I am one of the co-founders of Green Hero. Green Hero is effectively a Kickstarter for environmental green projects, which aims to fight global warming by reducing carbon emissions in the atmosphere. It's very simple. Now, I know some people believe there is global warming, some people don't. Let's just, for the next 10 minutes, assume there is some even small percentage of probability that global warming might be a serious problem for all of us in our lifetime. Now, the current solution to global warming is a top-down approach, which looks a little bit like this. It starts from the United Nations, the European Union, various Kyoto protocols, signing countries, etc. Effectively, it tries to force the polluters to pay for the emissions. I mean, this all sounds very nice, and it's plausible. But what happened in reality is, let's say in one of the latest United Nations meetings, they need all of the United Nations countries to act together. Let's say 220 countries need to sign the same document in order to affect it. And they got it to about, I think, 215 countries. Imagine what the probability of this event is. Unfortunately, the ones that didn't sign were just the US, India, China, Russia, Canada. So, and as any bureaucracy tends to perpetuate itself, and especially one which emerged out of thin air, to regulate the market for dirty air, which is a bit of an irony here, it grew to about a $200 billion market over just 10 or 15 years. And this solution, the top-down solution, doesn't really work. So one day we said, we're in this business. I mean, there has to be a better, cheaper, and simpler way to do it. So what can we do? We did a very short back-of-the-envelope calculation. We said global warming can be solved in our lifetime. So what do? Let's just create a viral video. We heard these are quite popular, to explain what we want to do. You have sound?
Sound, guys, please.
Sound? It's better that you're not actually hearing what I'm saying.
You can speak.
No. It's actually better.
For the past 20 years, the people of the world have waited for bureaucrats and politicians to stop human-caused climate change. So far, they have failed. Meanwhile, global greenhouse gas emissions have increased by 50%.
Let's solve the problem ourselves by starting bottom-up and use the power of the crowd. Call it crowd-solving. We need to reduce CO2 footprint levels across the globe. People can't stop polluting, but if you pollute here and save CO2 elsewhere, you become neutral. Easy, okay? So how do we do that?
We are creating a web platform where people reduce carbon emissions and save the environment. Users compete to become the world's greenest person and country while earning money and winning prizes along the way. That's it. It's fun, it's doable, and above all, sustainable. We call it the Green Hero.
Wait. Drop the. Just Green Hero.
Hi, my name is Jordan. I'm born in Bulgaria. I've lived in the US for 15 years, and now I'm back here in Bulgaria teaching people how to become green heroes.
Hi, I'm Ivailo. Born in Africa, grew up and live in Bulgaria. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19 years old. I want to change the world with Green Hero.
And I'm Boris, born in Bulgaria, educated in Sofia and Vienna, harmed the world as an investment banker in London. Now I'm back to Bulgaria, and I want to be a green hero. Our team also includes 2 hardcore engineers and a talented designer that will help us change the world.
Play and save the planet.
Earn money.
And travel to space, literally.
Be a green hero. Go to carbon zero.
Now, we were so embarrassed when we saw the video It was a lot of fun actually shooting it, but we were so embarrassed we never showed it to anyone. Well, until today, and my co-founder sits right there. He didn't know I was going to show this. He's probably going to kill me after the show. But then we said, okay, we need to hire a professional to make actually a decent, normal video. And then we said, okay, we found a video guy. I said, look, Mr. Video Guy, here's the concept. It's very, very simple. Take all the dirty air which exists in the world, this one, the polluted air, package it in carbon credits, which are sold under voluntary carbon credit schemes, to be sold via multi-level marketing systems where people are incentivized to share and get other people involved, and gamify all of it with points, levels, and amazing rewards. Go.
After 10 days of tough negotiations, ministers and other high-level officials from 160 countries reached agreement this morning on a legally binding protocol under which industrialized countries will reduce their collective emissions of greenhouse gases by 5.2%.
Blah 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 blah. 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 Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
Enough!
Who is the green hero who changed the world? It's you! Be a green hero. Go to carbon zero.
Now, a little bit better, but still quite embarrassing. At the time, though, we thought this will be a sure winner. And we are the first team in the world which actually come up with the idea to combine multi-level marketing, carbon credit schemes, and saving global warming. Of course, every time you think that, you're wrong. A simple Google search revealed there are about 5 companies or websites who have already tried this and done it. Hong Kong, Hungary, Brazil, the UK. We said, okay, but we're better. We have a better team, better idea, better video. Well, that's what we thought at the time. We're going to make it. We launched the website. Yeah. The first version of the website was a complete mess. It was so terrible. The user experience was non-existent. The copy was great. Was terrible, not great. The website flow was a complete maze. We were trying to sell dirty air to people via carbon credits, which were often associated with fraud, via multi-level marketing, which was often associated with Ponzi schemes, and all of this out of Bulgaria. Yeah, good luck. We went to the Webit conference in Istanbul, we went to the Pioneers Festival in Vienna, that was last year, and there was a bit of a time of reflection. What are we doing wrong? Probably most of it. Then we came back, and the third iteration of the website followed, which simply states that Green Hero is just a crowdfunding platform which lists projects globally which aim to reduce carbon emissions, thus helping global warming. And on the other side, we try to find the people and companies to donate to these projects. That's it. Very simple. We tested this a little bit. We listed 5 projects. We have 1 project in South Africa, in Cape Town actually, which got overfunded by people from Bulgaria, from Germany, and from the UK. So we have partial customer validation. They raised about $1,500. It's effectively a team which helped little kids in a very poor neighborhood outside of Cape Town to collect trash and give it to a municipality depot, and they got rewarded with some vouchers to buy food and clothes. It's called Trashback. It caught traction on the website, so we said, okay, at least we're doing something right. And this is the vision, to effectively list as many projects as we can on the website and gradually reduce the carbon emissions via these projects. And finally, actually, hopefully, we got the video right, thanks to Stani and Chase Cloud.
Meet Tom. He's that average guy who devotes his love and energy to building a nice home, planting a beautiful garden, and raising a great family. Everything seems fine around Tom. But is it? Tom feels that something needs to be done. But he is not a superhero. How can one person make a difference? Asking this question 1,000 times, we've started greenhero.com, a place where each of us can help make the world better for our children. It is easier than you thought. Simply log in, pick a project you'd like to support from our growing database, enter the amount you'd like to donate. Each contribution will generate points for you and your country, and as you help those who need it most, you will also compete for the ultimate Green Hero Award. Our job is to make sure that all donations are used properly and give you detailed feedback on projects' progress.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you for being a green hero.
You don't have to be a superhero to be a green hero. Join us at greenhero.com, saving the world one hero at a time.
Thank you.
Thank you. What you forgot to mention that I was the first guy to donate €1
Correct.
in your platform.
On the
So,
most terrible
yeah.
platform, yeah.
Okay, thank you for this presentation. Thank you for being a green hero. That's a very cool project, and I really enjoyed working with you guys. So, without any more hesitation, the next guy who is going to step up here is Asparuh, please. You are the man.
All right, welcome. I'm Asparuh Koev, co-founder of Transmetrics, and Transmetrics brings big data to cargo transport to improve capacity utilization. My personal journey so far has gone through 3 startups, starting from university in Blagoevgrad. So basically, the first one was Scient. I was a co-founder. It got sold to VMware. The second one was a consulting company working in the transport cargo space. And the third one is Transmetrics. So the problem that Transmetrics tackles is that the global cargo transport industry is 2 trillion euros, and half of that amount is spent transporting empty space with nothing inside. And in addition to the staggering economic cost, this also burns fossil fuels, produces carbon emissions, and creates traffic jams, pretty much like you guys. We are tackling it from the other end, actually. So a main reason why all this empty space is there in the transport chain is that demand for shipping fluctuates a lot from day to day. One day there is really a lot to ship, the next day very little, and transport companies are not good at predicting this, and that's why they end up half empty. However, we know that these cargo volumes depend on a large number of external factors such as weather, public holidays, economic factors, and so on. And if these are known, then future volumes are predictable. We know that it works because one of our customers has achieved an 80% correct prediction by using just 2 factors. And by using nearly 100 factors, we plan to push this prediction to more than 90%. That's why we are building a cloud-based product where companies can load their shipping history, correlate it with external signals to build a prediction of the empty space in the next 6 weeks so that they can eliminate the empty space before it happens. So far our competition is very big companies which are doing a very poor job for transport, supply chain optimization tools which are extremely expensive in the millions and poor match for transporters, as well as marketplaces to share capacity which don't work very well because of cheating. And when I say cheating, I mean really serious cheating on and very low prices. We have a very international team. You could be part of this team as well. We are looking particularly for strong statisticians today. We have also a very strong advisory board, which is one of the key ingredients of our success, basically, especially when we have to deal with large transport companies. At the moment, we're in a pilot mode with, thanks to our advisory board, with DHL, which is the largest transport company on the planet, and 2 others, which are also quite big. We are going to have a proof of concept that this actually works by early next year, after which we'll raise a seed round and we'll start building a product and selling it on a subscription basis. Meanwhile, we have talked to about 20 large transport companies which are interested in the solution, so we'll start selling it once we are ready, basically. At the moment, as I mentioned, we are mainly looking for people who have worked on prediction, who want to give a shot to solving this problem, which is very interesting, involving big data, involving complicated algorithms. If you are such a person, come and talk to me. A few lessons learned from running startups for quite a long time in Bulgaria. The first thing is that actually the team, I found, is much more important than the idea. And why is that? Because the idea that you start with is never going to be the idea that you end up with. And changing the idea is not a very big problem for a startup, but changing the team is a very big problem. And just to illustrate this, in Transmetrics initially we started with the idea that we are building a complicated mathematical optimization solution which is going to calculate the correct schedules and routes and so on for Turks. And that was not interesting for the companies. What was interesting was prediction. So we switched that, but because we had a very good team, we managed to carry over the new idea with the same company instead of having to start over. The next thing is one thing at a time. There are quite a lot of companies in Bulgaria, some of them very successful, who try to do startups inside of the already successful company, and in my experience this very rarely works. There are some exceptions which prove the rule, but usually the best way to do a startup is to just focus on one startup at a time. I've also had two very huge failures. One was basically a game for $500,000 which sunk completely, and the second one was another piece of software where I spent $150,000, and the mistake in both of these things was that I was trying to do this in parallel to having a large and successful company which I was running, so it doesn't work really. The third thing is actually, if you want money, then you should get a real job and forget all about this startups business, because in reality, as a startup, you can never, even if you're famously successful, it's very difficult to make a lot of money. Basically, when Mark Zuckerberg got a 1 billion or something payout from Facebook, he mostly did it so that he can pay his taxes, which he was due basically on the increase of his capital stock. So basically he's running on a very modest salary, and that's as big as you can get. In my experience, basically there were 2 times in my life when I was making a lot of money, and both times when I was completely not dealing with startups, basically. Just before the first startup and just before...
Shut up!
Just before the second one. And, but it's a very important point, because if you want to do a startup, you have to do it for something else, not for the money. You have to do it because you want to change the world. And because you are not one of these very few people who are not motivated by the money, but who are motivated by making an impact in this world. And that's very important. The fourth thing is learn to say no. Actually, we had to say no several times in Transmetrics. All of the times was when we didn't have any option. We got an interesting proposal for investment before we got the one from LaunchHub, which I had to say no to, and in retrospect it would have been completely the wrong choice for us if we had gone with that one. But at the time we didn't have any other source of money, so it was a bit of a risk. We also had a very interested customer. Before we got our first pilot customer, we had another one who was very interesting, very good case for us, but they were pushing us for very bad terms. And one of the terms, for example, was that if the project fails, we have to pay them 50,000 compensation. So basically having to say no to that one is, in retrospect, a very clear case, but when you don't have another pilot customer and when everyone is nervous that you cannot find one, basically it could be a big problem. The next thing really is that we are not in the Silicon Valley, and you have to accept that. And basically, I don't believe that you can run a successful consumer startup from here unless you find some very small niche. Basically, all the time I see startups in Bulgaria competing against startups in Western Europe who have raised 20 times more money. And even though how much money you raise is not completely related to how successful you are, it is to some extent related, because with a lot of money you can do a lot basically, and one of the things you can do is you can make life harder for your competition, which is the Bulgarian startups. So what the startups I've seen being successful in Bulgaria are mostly business to business, working on the global marketplace, tackling complicated technological problems. And that seems to work, and probably we should adapt ourselves around that. And the final one is beware the show business. What do I mean by show business? This here is show business. And you might be invited to speak here, you might feel like whatever, but this is completely not related to the success of a startup. Basically, the success of a startup is about the team, the product, the customers. Everything else, especially this really big bubble in which we are in the middle at the moment, will basically not help you a lot to be successful. Okay, thank you very much.
Straight to the point, guys. What would you expect from a prediction guy? But that was really cool. Thank you very much. Very, very interesting project. I would love to learn how it will turn up. Okay, who'll be next? That was the presentation, guys, and all the rest of you are going to improvise. So what about the ladies? Come on, ladies.
Yeah.
Olga from Wishbox.
Teddy as well. That is Teddy Zareva
Sure,
and
sure.
myself.
Come here. They're going to tell us all about the Wishbox.
Can we have our site on so wishbox.org is what we want to see on the screen. Well, hello everyone. We're very excited to be here. My name is Olga, and I'm the founder of a project called Wishbox. Teddy is my soon-to-be partner of a foundation that we're going to found in the very near future. What is Wishbox? Wishbox is a web platform for professional orientation for kids. In Bulgaria, we have a very big problem with kids not having the right role model for themselves, and around 30% of youth unemployment. This is generally a problem in Europe. What we have in Bulgaria is about 8% higher than the average European youth unemployment. So we're aiming to tackle that problem by showing the Bulgarian kids, the Bulgaria, the real models, the real role models that are successful in their own profession, and we do it in a very new and interactive way. Namely, we shoot videos with those successful people that tell their first-hand story of how they became successful. They tell the story of their job and their work, and that's how the kids get informed, motivated, and empowered to work. Our mission is to inform, motivate, empower kids, how to be successful in the nowadays world. What we have done thus far is shoot 60 videos with mentors from Bulgaria. So those are 60 people that we have shot, and we also launched a website where you can see all of the videos. Now, this is the main page of the website. When you get into the video box part of it, you can see 60 quite interesting people that have started from zero and went very far in their career. Unfortunately, in Bulgaria, no one really talks about those role models. Currently, the perception of the kids is that you need to have a Mercedes-Benz and you need to be a mutra, that's how we call them, in order to be successful. But we have quite a lot of role models in Bulgaria that are not talked about, so that's what we do in VideoBox. Teddy will tell you a bit more about what is going to happen next year and what the other aspects of the sites are. What I wanted to address is something very crucial and that many people find interesting about our project. We started 3 years ago, and ever since then we've been run entirely voluntary-based. That means that the team that we work with is entirely made of volunteers. Yeah. Well, a lot of people wonder about that and ask us, well, are you really working only with volunteers? Well, yeah, that's how we're working, because in the beginning, when the idea started, there weren't a lot of companies that wanted to support us. There weren't a lot of people that believe there is money in this idea, so we decided to, rather than look for money, look for people to come and join us. And yeah, that's how we've done it. And the most important thing about running a volunteer team is to have the right structure in order for them to work efficiently. Every one of us has a full-time job, and committing your free time to a cause is is a task sometimes to manage. Yeah, it's a difficult thing to manage sometimes. So what has brought us together, it's a cause. We all want to help the Bulgarian youth. We all want to change the world, as many of us have already said. And we are very focused on doing that. Teddy, joining the team about 2 months ago, is going to help us go further and sustainably reach our goal to change every kid's life in Bulgaria when it comes to their professional choices.
Okay, I'll talk really quickly about how I joined the project. I joined it 2 months ago, but actually I've been in school for the past 2 years as a Teach for Bulgaria teacher. And that was the first time when I realized that I want to work with youth. And I saw firsthand what the problems are in Bulgarian schools. So I was convinced that I want to continue helping them outside of the school context to help them be successful, get the skills and the motivation to succeed in their life. So when I met Olga, it turned out that we had a similar vision about what we want to achieve. And ultimately we decided that making an impact cannot be a part-time job. And if you really want to make a difference, you have to make it a full-time job, which is why we decided to start a foundation that will really focus on solving this problem, the lack of motivation, lack of skills, lack of information, lack of positive role models for the Bulgarian young people. Right now, we're really working on developing a strategy that will really focus us in our work. We know that in order to reach kids, we need to learn to speak their language, and we need to use their communication channels. This is why we're really developing web-based content, particularly video content. The video box section, which if there's someone to click on it, you can actually see the videos we already have. That's the work of the past 3 years that the volunteers have done. Right now, we're really developing new video formats, and actually a pilot that we're currently producing is an innovative web-based series for teenagers and with teenagers. It's based on a reality format, and keep your eyes and ears open for it to come in January. What we really want to make is new type of popular media that actually sends the message we think young people should be getting. We're also focusing on offline activities, such as organizing similar events like the StartUP conference or TEDx events that are very plentiful here for people our age, but young people, especially students in high school, don't really have access to the great positive examples that we get here from projects and people. So we have already 2 planned events for next year for college students and high school students in a similar format, trying to inspire and motivate them. And we also work in schools directly with teachers and directly with students, bringing the role models to their classrooms, engaging them in conversations about what it means to be successful, what it takes to be successful, and what are the steps we have to take from high school, from the next summer vacation that will help us get where we would like to be. So that's Wishbox in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. It's amazing how much work can be done in Bulgaria using volunteers and how stupid things can be done using money. I think that we should all go volunteers. Okay, thank you once again. And our last participant in this session is Alex Gvozdev. Can you tell us about Case-Track?
Of course. Just a small correction. I'm a Gvozden, which means Iron Man.
We are very sorry.
If we drink together, you'll figure out why is that. It means Iron Man, basically. So I'm from Case-Track. We do legal practice management software. Basically, we want to help a law firm become better, earn more through the tools that are optimize their workflow and tell them where to go next with their practice. And so we are kind of 1 year old almost. And I want to start with the story how me and my partner even met. I'm not a lawyer, fortunately for me, but for him, he's a lawyer. And basically we met on a startup event like this. In Belgrade there is a group of people that are organizing startup meetings every month, let's say once. And one day, let's say, I think it was 1st September, the door were closed when we went there. I mean, it was 10 o'clock, it should start at 10 o'clock, and me and him were there, and there was nobody else. And we started talking, figure out there is so many things in common, that we share a passion about startups, because I'm in the startups from 2009. I already have one startup, it was pretty successful, and we started talking, you know, we didn't start immediately working on our product, but one day Ivan told me, you know, with beers, like, you know, I worked at Philip Morris as a lawyer in a legal department, and they use 5 Excel tables to solve some problem. And I made them 1 Excel table, and me as a programmer felt really strange. I mean, do you use Excel to solve problems? I mean, we surely can do more than that. So that was around 1st January, and then we figured out because my first startup, I made a huge mistake. It was successful, but we made a huge mistake. We made a tool that is so complicated that it looks like a Photoshop. And I mean, we earned some money, it was really enough, but I think with these mistakes we actually made ourselves like earn at least twice less than we could. So sometimes you're successful, but you are missing actually a chance to earn a lot more just because you are doing it your way, you don't talk to your clients and stuff like that. So we decided to go lean, and we did it right from the start. And my advice is when you go lean, actually, first thing you can do is to take your phone and call the potential customer and just ask them, do you need something like this? And I mean, I've been last week in Belgrade, and they have a thing called StartUP Academy, something like what you're doing here. And one team said that they want to start doing next week, they will put a landing page and they will like ask people to register. And they wanted to ask 200 people to register, and I told them, did you ask 5 of them actually, do you need this tool, you know? Why put effort in a landing page and everything until you realize that is the needed tool? And they didn't do that, and now they're doing it, and I think everybody should at the start just pick up the phone and talk with the potential customers, see what they feel and think, because these 5 people can totally change the way you think about it and can help you unbelievably a lot. And after that, when we talked to lawyers, we actually understood that it's a mess. Some are using Basecamp, some are using Excel, some do have softwares, but they have 3 to 4 softwares to deal with their problems. So we then created the mock-ups, and this is whole story that I will try to tell on Tuesday in Beta House at 7 p.m. Please be there. I will talk about this thing, lean as a process, how to actually go back and forth with your customers, potential customers, to actually achieve something that now we have, let's say, 8 out of 10 lawyers, when we show them our product, they are amazed. But just to continue with the story, when we had this kind of a concept and some wireframes, 11 heard for the idea, we went to pitch for them, and they just said, yeah, you are accepted, basically. Because it's very clear what we are doing, and it's very helpful when your startup actually targets very clearly some segment, some vertical, when it has a clear vision where it wants to be in 1 year, and that helps a lot. So having a clear vision where you want to be and what you're doing is a process, and you can deal with this with your customers, because they will tell you what you can do and where you can be and where they want you to be. They will pay for this. So we got accepted in 11, and it's been a nice journey, a lot of mentoring, a lot of different ideas, but we kind of try to stick what we heard from our customers, and we went through this acceleration phase. Now what we are doing is releasing a product. It's gonna happen this week to limited number of customers. And one good thing that we did is, it's kind of also an advice that we got at the right time when we got accepted at 11, is build the front end first. You don't need any backend. Put some dummy data in, build the front end, so you can go and show people and they can click around, because then they can actually realize what you're doing. And that helped us a lot to actually gain support from other people. We now have 3 angel investors, the amazing people, and they understand the product with this front end. You know, we didn't have a full product to show, but we had the front end, they understood what it is about, and they joined. And I think for the success of a startup, it's very important to try to find partnerships. You don't go around and ask for money, but there is a point of time where you need to talk about them. But you try to find the people that understand your product, that actually believe in it, believe in that you can successfully deal with the issue that you're solving, and actually believe in you as a team. And we found these people, one accelerator more that is now started in Belgrade, the StartUP, and of course support from 11, and these 3 angel investors. And now it's challenges. We have new challenges. It's always going to be more and more challenges. Now the challenge is to find out 100 users that will be happy with our product. This is what we got from VCs. You know, when you talk with them, you should ask, what is this thing that you need for you to invest? And this is what they told us, 100 users. They don't have to be paying users. We are looking now towards that, and we have some other issues. We have, let's say, another software that we are working on, and now we have this problem of a focus, but we are working on it, and fortunately we have a support of not only investors, but our team that we managed to build, and that was basically my biggest concern in a startup, is to build a successful team, and the team that can work even when you're not there, because often you need to travel and stuff. I can say that now we have 3 programmers and 1 girl that is doing operations, day-to-day things. The team is great, and I'm really proud of them, and I hope the team is going to grow even bigger, and that we are onto something, and it looks like that, but let's see, around February we will have more news. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, guys, we went a little bit ahead in the time, so let's do a very brief discussion here. And everybody is talking about the team, how team is important. Almost everybody said something about the team. We have this question from the audience. How did you find your teammates, and how did you know this was the right team? So can you tell us briefly what is your process? How do you find teammates, by accident, or you have something you do?
Well, the best people are actually the people that you worked with before, and you know what they're capable of.
What about if you haven't worked with people before?
Well, then you have a problem.
You should get a real job.
No, but seriously, basically, if you don't know the people, then try to get references, and then don't give them shares until you figure out who they are, basically. Put them on some sort of stock option, so if you have to kick them out, you're not stuck with them.
Some A/B testing before commitment. Boris, what about you? What qualities are you looking at when teaming up with somebody?
Well, our case is basically the same. We worked together before with the team. I think the most, well, for me at least, the most important thing is that you have unlimited trust. You have to be able to leave to your co-founder the keys to your flat and not worry at all, for example.
It's like marriage, but worse.
So yeah, I mean, but we've known each other from before that, so we knew.
Okay. Alex, what about you?
So I shared the story how we met, and I think it's easy to say have somebody that you already worked with, but what I meet people and all of them are asking how to find a co-founder, you know, and this kind of events is the best place, including the hackathons and stuff like that. You know, these people want to do something, and the possibility to work there, and as Brooke is right when saying do the options, don't give equity right away, just do the options, and the relationship is going to develop, and there is this kind of inner feeling that tells you this is the right person.
Thank you. Olga, Teddy, I'm especially interested, how do you find your teammates when it's all about volunteer work?
Well, when you have a great cause to work for, it's not a hard task, I would say. The most important thing for me is to see that the person is passionate. Of course, competency is another crucial thing. And as soon as you see that someone is passionate about your cause, they're going to join and they're going to work wholeheartedly. Choosing a partner is a different thing than choosing a teammate. I've had my fair share of failures when it comes to partnerships, and I would say that it's a very crucial thing to really trust the person first and make sure that you believe in him as a person or her as a person rather than a professional. Professionalism comes and you can learn things, but when it comes to morale, that's the most important thing. When it comes to choosing teammates and people in the team, yeah, I would say that passion is the most important thing, and then of course competencies.
Cool. Teddy, about something?
Well, yeah, in my experience, finding the right teammates or partners is about the cluster of people that have gravitated around this particular idea, and then just chemistry, basically.
You can have one of those American college protocols when they put you in a trial and you have to do really crazy things. Okay, thank you. So bottom line, find someone you trust, test him, if you, her, and if you like the chemistry, partner. So it's more like personal qualities rather than professional qualities. Do you all agree or not?
Most definitely.
Okay. I have a challenge for you. What about, would you be a mentor to people? Would you mentor one person or few persons, if you can, from the audience in their starting company? Can you do that? Do you have the time, and can you put out the effort?
Well, I'm doing it all the time. Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about right now. If all of you agree, then I would challenge you guys. These guys are saying that they will mentor one of you. So after the panel discussion is over, you should rush to them and be the first one, and maybe you got yourself a mentor. And the guys who ask this question may have his or her mentor. Okay, and special question to Wishbox. Are the speakers only from Bulgaria, and how do their messages reach the kids? How do you promote the idea? Can one of you just tell us more about that?
Yeah, we're both from Bulgaria. That was the question, right?
No, the speakers that you shoot the video, the participants, the mentors?
Yeah, all of them are from Bulgaria, and they tell their stories about realizing themselves in Bulgaria. But we are currently starting a new blog where we share stories from all around the world, so that we motivate kids with other examples. And what was the next question?
How do you reach them? How do you promote the idea?
The website is 2 weeks old, and actually this is really the question that is in our mind all the time right now. So we're counting on developing partnerships with existing networks of students. We're also working with networks of teachers, like Junior Achievement teachers and Teach for Bulgaria teachers, who help us reach their kids through the events that we organize, also through actually going to schools and classrooms, targeted advertising on Facebook also, and just developing compelling, attractive, cool content that will hopefully spread virally once we find what teenagers...
Virally and hopefully are so bad words to put together in one sentence. Okay, guys, what was the biggest challenge your startup faced in 1 or 2 or 3 words, max? Start with you. Wishbox, biggest challenge?
Reaching sustainability.
Reaching sustainability. Alex, what about Kestrel?
Building a passionate team, so not the founders, but the team that
motivation
at the start. Yeah.
Boris, Green Hero?
Yeah, proving credibility and growing the website.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always about people challenges, the challenge around expertise, about the ability to do things, ability to reach people and so on. It's always about the people.
It's always about the people. I like Asperuk's wisdom. He's saying so wise things today. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions because if you don't, I'm calling the panel discussion over, and thank you very much for your participation. I wish you great success with these startups. Please let us know what's going on and how you're progressing. If we can help, we'll do. And without further delay, give the word to